right, Strong Mama. So today on this technique, it is so incredible, and I've been teaching patients and clients and family and friends around the world this easy technique that you can not only do on yourself, but also your family members. So first, I want to tell you a couple things and help you understand that our lymph system is constantly draining. It should be constantly draining like a river. And our lymph system is responsible for allowing waste to be eliminated, and it carries different proteins and stuff like that. And I'm going to be covering the whole entire lymphatic system in another video, so I can't wait for you to watch that too. But what I want you to understand is there's a bunch of lymph nodes around our neck, and the tonsils are part of the lymphatic tissue, as well as we've got our sinus cavity and our eustachian tubes in our ear canals. And what happens is if the lymph gets backed up in our body, meaning it's not draining well, what it will do is pool kind of like a pond. So visualize a pond. You know how a pond, after so long, it sits and it gets really murky and there's a yucky film on top of that pond, and eventually it starts to smell when you walk by it? Well, that's exactly what happens with our lymphatic system. If it starts to get pool like that pond, you'll start to get lymph nodes in your neck that'll be really swollen. You also start to get backed up in your sinuses, and there'll be mucus and snot in your sinuses, and then it goes into the ear canals. So this is why I love showing this technique, because it will get your ears and your sinuses draining. So are you ready for this? If you are, I want you to go ahead and comment yes in the comments below. And now I have Veda here, and I'm going to show you a couple spots to really zone in on. And it's really important that you focus on these spots so the ears and the sinuses can drain. So the first spot is, if you want to look ahead, is right above the collarbone or the clavicle. That is where the lymph can often pool, and it's kind of ticklish right now on her. But what it will do is, I'm going to show you on myself. So we have our collarbones right here, and above that is where the lymph can pool. So what we want to do is have you stroke it like this, very gently, nothing too intense, enough pressure to kind of make a little bit of red bark, but nothing to, cause pain or to bruise. So you're literally just stroking outward above the collarbone like this, just like that. And what I would recommend is you to stroke about 10 times. And this is just going to warm up that lymph tissue. It's going to warm up the muscles as well and get things draining. Then the next spot, after rubbing the collarbone area, you're going to rub the neck area, okay? And there's a bunch of lymphatic tissue in this area, and you're going to rub downward like this. Okay, so now let me show you the neck and how to get those tissues warmed up. So now look in the mirror. Ideally, it's easier to look in the mirror, but you can all see a big cord-like muscle here, okay? And there's a lot of lymphatic tissue that sits in and around this. And these muscles, when they get tight, they will start to clench down and not allow the lymph to drain. So what you can do to just warm up the tissue is go behind that cord-like muscle. This is called the sternocleidomastoid or SCM muscle. Behind and stroke down 10 times like that. And after the 10th time, then go in front of it. So it's almost right where the throat is. And this can really help alleviate sore throats or throat pain like this. Okay, so now just to recap, what you're going to do is you're going to rub above the clavicles or the collarbones like that on both sides. And then you're also going to do 10 times behind the SCM muscle and 10 times in front of the SCM muscle. Now, those are really great tips to do before the technique now that I'm going to show you. So are you excited? Because I'm really excited to show this. And what I want you to do is, if those seem easy to you, go ahead and comment Strong Mama in the comments below, because this is super, super easy and so effective. All right, now, so I'm ready to show you the technique, and I'm going to give you a few pointers beforehand. The first thing is to clip your fingernails. That way they're really, really low and they don't irritate the ears, because what you're going to be doing is putting your pinkies right inside where the ear canals are. And I'm going to be showing you the motion in just a few minutes. The second thing is you can also do this as often as you'd like. This can not only prevent the ear infection, but it can also be helpful if the ear infection is in the middle of striking the pain. It can help alleviate that. It just really depends on the person and if they're comfortable. If the person's comfortable, then you can go ahead and do this as often as you want. And it's super, super effective. Now, the other thing to do this is ideally, if somebody is in prevention mode, do this once a day. If somebody is more in crisis mode, you can do this a couple times a day. And also, the third thing is you can use any oil, really. And what I mean by that is you can use coconut oil is my favorite, olive oil, or I have what's called a V6, which is a few different oils together. Now, I like to use this oil, and then I also like to intensify the technique by using an essential oil. And I'm going to explain to you why I do that in just a few minutes. But first, I want to show you this technique. What you're going to do is put your pinkies right into the ear canals area. And what you're also going to do is you're going to do 20 motions upward. And I say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like that, 20 total. And then you're going to turn your hands over and you're going to go downward 20 times. And then you're going to pull towards yourself like this 20 times. And then you're going to come around front and pull. So just to review, you're going to go 20 upward, 20 downward, 20 towards yourself, and then 20 forward like this. So I'm going to go ahead and put coconut oil on my fingers. And this is to help create a gliding motion. And what I'm going to do is just get it on my fingers like this. And Veda, can I start doing this? All right, so I'm going to now show you the technique. I'm going to go ahead and put my fingers right where the ear canals are. And I'm going to go ahead and just have the person sit back comfortably. And I'm going to go 20 motions up like this. Then 20 down. So you've got to kind of get lower like this. And then you're going to pull towards yourself 20 times. And then you're also going to go ahead and come in front and pull towards their nose 20 times. All right, so let me show you with a close-up. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and show you right here with this, and I have my fingers right at her ear canal, and I'm going upward 20 times. I'm alternating right, left, and then I'm going to go ahead and turn my hands down, and I'm going downward, pulling it like this, and then I'm going to go ahead and pull back towards myself 20 times, right, left, and then I'm going to go to the front and put my fingers this direction and pull forward 20 times, right, left, like this. Okay, so that's what it looks like. Now I'm going to show you my favorite essential oils to really intensify the drainage out of the ears and the sinuses. And the first thing you always want to do is get what's called a carrier oil. So my favorite is coconut oil for the ears, but you can also use olive oil, you can use the V6, but I really love coconut oil because if there's any sort of sensation of burning or irritation, the coconut oil will dilute the essential oil versus if you have water with an essential oil, water drives the essential oil in deeper, but instead to dilute it to make it so it doesn't burn or irritate, you want to use another oil. So an oil with another oil always calms the irritation. Now, does that make sense? I hope it does. So be sure to comment yes if that makes sense to you in the comments below. Now I'm going to share with you my favorite essential oils to use. And the first one that I use is lavender. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some coconut oil on my fingers again and rub it around, and then I'm going to go ahead and use the lavender, and I'm putting it around my pinkies right where that coconut oil is, just like this. And you don't need a whole lot, just a couple drops. And what I'm going to do is go back to her ears and go ahead and sit on back for me. Thank you. And then I'm going to go ahead and go upward 20 times. And then I'm going to go downward 20 times. I'm going to go back towards myself 20 times. And then I'm going to go forward, pulling towards her nose, and nice and gentle. You don't have to be aggressive, and you can be as fast or slow, and just really pay attention to how the person that you're doing this to or yourself, how comfortable they are. All right, so that's lavender. The next oil I'm going to use, I love to use lemon. Lemon or lemongrass is really great. You can also use purification on my pinkies, and I'm going to do the same thing, doing the same exact technique where I'm going upward 20 times, downward 20 times, back towards me 20 times, and then forward 20 times. And if you have any extra, like I have some extra on my fingers right now, what I'm going to do is rub it right behind her ear like this on both sides. And then I like to finish it off. And I love to use the technique with peppermint at the very end. Now, peppermint can be very irritating if you don't have that carrier oil. So be sure to use some extra coconut oil or olive oil to help. So now I love using peppermint to really open up the sinus cavities and finish the technique with peppermint because it'll get things really draining well. So I go 20 times upward, 20 times downward, 20 times towards myself, and then I come to the front 20 times towards her nose. And I do have some extra, so I'm going to rub it behind her ear. Okay, so now I've showed you and shared with you the technique. And what I want to also do is give you a really great trick to help the body to heal faster, and that is to use a heat pack. Now, I like to use a heat pack that you can throw in the microwave or the oven. Don't use a heating pad. And this heat pack, what you can do then is put it around their neck after the technique, after you've rubbed the oil around your ear and you've gotten everything moving. Put the heat pack, that moist, warm heat will get your lymph system draining faster. And on my next video, I'm super excited to share with you a bunch of different tips and tricks to also prevent ear infections in all ages. So again, this is a technique that you can do from age 2 on up. And also be sure to make the person drink a lot of fluids. Have them drinking a lot of water, especially if you're using essential oils, because they can be very dehydrating. All right, Strong Mamas. So was this helpful? I know this is going to be so great for you and your family. What I want you to do is be sure to subscribe so you get my weekly content every single Monday. And also visit my website at holisticdoctormama.com for more information, and like me on Facebook, follow me on Instagram. And also, I want you to hit thumbs up if this was helpful. And then lastly, share this with your other fellow mamas. This is going to empower them and give them the confidence to help themselves and their family. All right, guys, I'm wishing you well.